Well, it is a not so warm welcome to the Totally Awesome Fishing Show because it's pretty nippy out there. It's late autumn, not quite coming into early winter. There's a few leaves coming off the trees here now, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to come down this river. I'm on the River Wye, above Hereford. I think I'm upstream of Hereford, a place called Letton. Never fished here before. They told me to come up and have a look at it. I had a look at it. I thought, well, I'll come back and probably have a go at that before the leaves get on the bottom, because I was float fishing with a centre pin the other day on a small stream, and I was shocked how many leaves had settled in the eddies and the slacks, and that puts fish off, definitely puts fish off. In a lake, I wouldn't waste my time fishing with all the leaves on there. Wait till sort of December when they've rotted back and gone. But this river here, guys, comes up like 2 metres or something ridiculous, even more. And it's been up here, I can tell, and people have been getting trapped trying to get their car to the swim. To just show you, I have actually risked life and limb to get to this swim. Nobody else has taken the trouble. Is it a question of he who dares wins? I got stuck here spinning, got stuck there spinning, trying to turn around. Massive ploughed field, and just look over there, there is a car stuck in the middle of a ploughed field. I hope that's not going to be me. I've managed to get the old girl turned around here. It's already splattered. It's not exactly a 4-wheel drive. I should be using Mike's truck, shouldn't I? I should have his 4-wheel drive Nissan. It's just what this is for. I'm trying to catch a barbel, sort of end of the season barbel for me. It's not the end of the fishing season, it's the end of my season, because when it gets really cold and the nights start coming in, it just takes too long for me to get up here. For me, it's like nearly 3 hours drive to get up here. And then it gets dark early, and then you get stuck in the field. Right, I'm going to be fishing here with my beach rest, my sea fishing rest. So I want to keep it up high so that if there's any leaves going through, minimise my line drag in the water and also hold my feeder out there. I'm using one of Woody's swim feeders here. Woody at Hereford, that's Woody's Angling Centre. He sells these jumbo feeders with big weights. I'm sure to lose the damn thing. Got a big eye to it, so I put a bead there, a swivel, straight down 5-6 pound line, and just here, size 12 I think that is, hook, onto which I'm going to put a bunch of maggots. The water actually does look clear. When I drove I thought, oh no, it's coloured. It's not, it is clear. It's just always got that sort of colour effective in it. So last time I saw it, it was very, very clear. Lots of little minnows and that around there. I've got some old rubbish ground butter mixed up with pellet and maggots. I'm going to put some balls out there. And I've got some for my feeder here. This is just going a bit, I've damped it, so I give it like 10 minutes so it doesn't go too claggy. Hook baits, the usual, I think they're 4 mil trout pellets. Enough maggots to catch a net of dace, and some spare 2 mil coarse Squettings pellets just for feeder. So my aim is to get these 2 feeders out. Wish me luck. I hope I don't lose a lot of feeders. I really hope it's not going to be one of those days where I snag breaks. I don't know the swim, I've never fished here. So just need to get that first bite, don't I? Let's get that bait out there. And I'm actually got some nice hard balls of ground bait here. I'm going to fire out anyway, just upstream. They're going to roll along. Oh, hit my own line then. And get some of those, just so there's a bit of feed going in there. And even if they break up further down, hopefully the fish might find it on that line and move up. So that's the general idea of it. And I've made them quite stiff, quite hard. You know, I want them to, the small fish nibble away. When I fish the Wye further down, there's so many minnows and small dace and stuff like that. They soon polish off the ground bait, so I won't give the feeder too long. I'll just get these nice hard balls of ground bait and see if I can't get a line over there. It's a bit shorter. Doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt, it's all going out. If I was float fishing, I would want this breaking up and crumbling and running the float right down through. I'd want it loose, I wouldn't want it hard. But this is just me personally. I just want to put a few balls of ground bait out there, because I'm obviously late getting to the party, as they say, with the drive. Some people have probably been here since 7 this morning. So I can't do that, I don't live local. You could kill somebody with this, couldn't you? Now a lot of those will roll. We normally put a stone in them. That's for fishing closely in fast water. Stone in the middle of the ball of ground bait. But if you do that at distance, you find that when it impacts with the water, it does tend to break up a bit, and that's sort of that's sort of wasting it. Because the thing is with the river, everything you throw in is just washed away, isn't it? It's washed away or eaten by a fish. A couple more and that'll do me, I think. It just gives me a little bit of a boost. Oh, makes me feel better actually. I don't want to take it all back to home. It's already wet anyway. It is so quiet up here. It's just worth the drive alone. They give a bit of wind coming in a couple of days, but it is so peaceful. That's the reason I've come up here. I don't think I've been to a place short British Columbia that is so quiet. Unbelievable. Well, I've had a sandwich. I've given about 15 minutes out there, and I've got Woody's heavy feeder there, which is for the Y. It's made for the River Y. That's holding out. That's fine. But my homemade one, which I've made out of a bit of fencing, is going to empty out faster. If it empties out faster, there's less weight there. It's going to bump around, so that's what it's doing. So I'm actually going to move it. Let me show you. If you recall, I cast it up there towards those trees there on the horizon, above that big tree. I use that as a target. You see the big tree in the background up on the hillside. I use that as my target. Cast there, it's bumped round to here. The other big heavy feeder hasn't moved so much. So next time I'm going to switch those around, put the heavy feeder upstream and the lighter feeder when it empties out down, because if it bumps down, there could be some fish down the back that will actually take a moving bait. That's the theory. We can only try. Well, I've had to tap on that feeder that was bumping, guys. I told you about it. I've got a small fish. My money's on a dace or maybe a small chub. What is that? Small chub. And there we go. There's my cage feeder, which you see is emptied out and lighter, exactly what I said. It's bumped further down, so at least I know there's chub out there. And I think I'm doing the right thing by putting the light one straighter. When it empties, it'll bump down. I might get a bite, and the heavy one can be anchored up for barbel. Let's get it back out now. I'm all keen now. Save the blank. One little chublet like this. Tip number 453 on the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. When it gets cool like this, be very careful in the autumn and winter, especially if you're oldies like me and you're getting in the senior years. It's worth putting an umbrella up, even if it's not raining, because this cold air coming out off this field down into this little, I'm going to call it a frost hollow here, is putting a bit of a shiver on. Now the sun's out, but in the winter there's not much heat in it, so it can drop your core body temperature. And around here, they train the SAS just up there on the Brecon Beacons. They know all about maintaining your body core temperature. So I'm going to put the umbrella up here just to kill off that wind, and that probably puts my body up a couple of 3 degrees, and I don't want to start shivering. You actually burn more calories shivering, in case you didn't know that, guys. Again, ask the army guys, shivering is not good for you. Especially at my age. Get me up on the Brecon Beacons, I can tell you. Unless it's in a car. Oh, tap on the woody feeder, I'm going to call it. Right, let's get that body up. you people that watch regularly might think this is a, oh, tap up there, bit of a weird one, like a giant salmon net. And I've got this because I want to try maybe piking tomorrow. If I get a barbel, if I don't get a barbel, I have to come back here. But you can put this across your back and it has a humongous net, so there's no coarse fish that I'm not going to be getting in here for sure. It just pops together like that. No extending pole, but I don't need that here because I've got Wellingtons and it's just a gravel bar there. So I've got a really big net. Is that a fish? To get a really big barbel into. I feel I'm getting bangs and they're tugging on the feeder. And in a minute, one of those rods is going to fold over, I hope. I don't even mind seeing those small chub like that, any small fish, because that activity will bring a bigger fish around. Man, I've got to get out of that wind. I've had to resort to put my body warmer on, guys. Another fish, this time on the heavy feeder. And that is not a chub, that's a nice dace. So you can see what I mean about keeping that feed going in, because aside from the current, these fish are nibbling away and eating everything that you put in there. Got to keep feeding and hope that those barbel are going to move in and push the small fish out. In the summer, everybody knows to keep those maggots cool, keep them in the shade, otherwise they will turn into casters, which is the stage before they turn into flies, and fly away and you have no bait. So you've got to keep them cool in the summer. In the winter it can work in reverse. You don't want them really out in the cold. If you've had them in the fridge to stop them turning to casters, which is what you keep maggots in the fridge for, to slow that metabolism down, then I like to put them in the sunshine in the winter because it gets them all wriggling and they're all over the place. That heat will want to sort of transform themselves into the caster, the chrysalis, and then into the fly. Of course, you can take them home when they're left over and you can still put them back in the fridge again. They live longer in the winter than they do, because it's cool, than they do in the summer. But I just think when they're wriggling around like that, I like to keep them warm. And do you know what years ago they used to do? Some of the top match fishermen used to put the live maggots in their mouth in the winter to keep them warm. Take them out and put them on the hook so they wriggled more. I joke not, I'm old school, and that's even older school than me. Check it out in some of the old books. Might be some old timers out there that remember that people used to put the maggots in the mouth to keep them warm. Listen, I'm not putting any maggots in my mouth to keep them warm. I know Mike says they're protein, if you're starving you'd eat them, but I'm not starving, am I? Anyway, little tip there. Another useless fact from Graeme while he's waiting for a bite. Come on fish, come on. I want to see that rod buckle over. I'm giving bumps on that left hand one because the cage feeder is emptying quicker and the food is obviously breaking down from the big one going that. Look. They're dace. Oh, and the right hand one as well. So I've got dace, small fish, banging away on both baits, up here and down there. Look. Oh my God, that's a small fish. That's a small, on both of them there's a lot of dace. Do you know what would be fun? Not here in the middle of winter, but go out there with some chest waders and a loose feed and do some float fishing. I reckon that would be brilliant here because there's a lovely gravel bar. I'll show you the gravel bar while we're waiting for my rod to fold out the rest. I mean, I can see beautiful. I can't see any chub or anything out there, but you can wade out there quite a way and you can run a float all the way down, wade out possibly over there, about a third of the way, wade down, chest waders, even thigh waders. It's lovely and clear. I'll tell you what we'll do, I'll put a ball of ground bait down there because I'm always fascinated by what comes up. I'll put some of this old rubbish bait I've got here, put a couple of balls in there just so you can see. We'll take a look later on and see if any minnows, anything like that, come around. I know it's just sort of a waste, really putting a bit of ground bait somewhere where you're not going to catch any fish, but it might just be interesting to see what comes around. Minnows, I should think. make them nice and hard. Also, I'll tell you what it does do, even though it's in a lot slower water closer in here, it gives you an idea on the breakdown time of your ground bait. There we go. Hope you guys see this. One in there. Look how fast that rolls away. So I'm going to squeeze this one a little bit flatter, chuck it in a little bit closer. One roll in there and one there. So the ones I catapulted out here, we're trundling away down there, attracting fish as they go, and there's actually bits breaking up off that. Once they settle down, you'll see it all breaking up. Now just look at all these particles of ground bait. You can see how they tumble, and when that ball of ground bait breaks up, it doesn't just roll away. All those little particles lodge in between the stones, and you can see all the minnows, small fish here, darting around, picking off all those bits of food, and that's what attracts the barbel. So you think all your ground bait's washed away, it does break up a bit, but lots of it just lie in the bottom of the gravel, in amongst the stones, which is right where you want them. Now if I do actually get lucky enough to bang into a barbel and get one, or even a big chub actually, even a nice sort of 3-4 pound chub, I'm going to probably change one of the feeders, if not both of them, to these. I'll just show you these because some people might not have seen them. These are really old ones. These are probably 30 years old. These are called block end feeders, okay, because they're blocked both ends. Some feeders are empty both ends. This is a block end feeder, and you can fish it from, load it from the top and fill it full of maggots. But what it's done, it's got all these holes in it, quite large holes there, for the maggots to come out of. And we used to use these on slightly slower rivers like the Hampshire Avon, and on the River Severn they used to use them as well, for distributing maggots really quickly. So maggots were a lot cheaper then. It used to be 30 shillings for a gallon, which is 8 pints. 30 shillings for 8 pints. Now I think I'm paying, 2018, I think I paid £3 for 1 pint. Oh dear. So it's expensive now buying a gallon of maggots, and no need for it. So I might put one of these actually down the swim here, just so you can see the time that it takes for the maggots to come out. Now that's just got a regular weight there, a strip on there. It might not be heavy enough for a river as powerful as this. So what they did on the Severn and the Wye, mostly on the Severn, they put these things on the back which are called ski leads. So you can see they're like two runners, two ski leads, extra weight to make it anchored down in that fast current. So I might rig these up, but I'm going to wait until I actually know there's a barbel or big chub out there. And that way I won't be feeding all the days too much. I want to make sure if I am putting a lot of maggots out, and these do put a lot of maggots in the water, that there are some decent fish around to catch. So they're there anyway, at least you know what a block-in feeder looks like. Very old block-in feeder. Well, it's just about to wind in, got another fish on here. The wind northerly, northwesterly I think it is. Dace or chub? That is, there's some nice dace here. Look, I really fancy coming back. Maybe next summer it will be now. I'm going to turn that one around so you can see it. If you stop flapping about. Look at that dace. Lovely looking dace. Pristine condition, river wide dace. And I'll tell you what, I reckon there must be some big pike in here. If there's shoals and shoals of these little chappies. That's a nice fish. Look, that's palm size. That's a nice dace. I tip I've got one of fish on the Wye. I'm no Wye expert. I just go up there, catch a few fish and go home. Listen. It can be snaggy, it can be boulders. It's, you know, stuff comes down in this big powerful river rock. So I put the drag right up to get that feeder up and off the bottom. If it's in a snag, it's in a snag. You can't do anything about it. Wind down and get it straight off the bottom. It's just like sea fishing when we go beach fishing. Get it up, get it coming, get it off the bottom. Oh my God, I've got a fish on here as well. Well, I lifted that. Poor fish probably thinks he's going flying. But you can see the principle of that. Get that feeder up off the bottom, away from all the rocks. He's come off. There was a fish on there, I should imagine another dace. Keep it moving, and you know, hopefully you won't lose too many feeders, because they are not cheap unless, like me, you make your own. This is a shot ball. This is a homemade. I've got plenty of barbel using the homemade, I can assure you. I've had about a dozen dace now. Big ones, nice big dace. They've just gone off a tad. And I've got a few tube maggots coming in. Still getting the odd rattle, but they're not as ravenous as they were. I wonder if something big has moved in the swim. And that's, you know, pushed them away. I hope so. The one benefit is the sun has gone around. It's come out what's left of that willow tree. I'm bathed in winter, or late autumn, early winter sunshine here. Very pleasant it is too. But I want to see that rod buckle over. Come on, fish. Give me a break. Of course, I suppose the other thing I could do is to avoid, well, if I can avoid those days, because I'm not really targeting them. They're hitting big bunches of maggots, but they like live bait, they like maggots. I've got some larger, I think I've got some 8mm pellets knocking around here, trout pellets. I wonder if, maybe should I go to pellet? I mean, they tell me that pellet's no good in the winter. And the last time I came up here 2 weeks ago, I got 3 barbel on pellet when they tell me don't use pellet. It's maggots. I don't understand it. Somebody has to tell these fish they're eating the wrong bait at the wrong time. But I do wonder, maybe I should just, I've got to give it an hour, haven't I? I mean, I'm so impatient as a fisherman, it's ridiculous. Maybe just sitting in this lovely bit of warm sunshine will calm my troubled brow, my fevered brow. I still see little bites. They're nothing like as horrendous as they were on those maggots. I wonder if there's something bigger in there. Just moving in, mopping up those grains of ground bait that are tucked in amongst the stones. You saw it when I showed you earlier on, close in, how those, once that ball of ground bait breaks up, you think it washes away, it goes all in amongst the stones. And that's where the barbel dig around, the pellets go in there, the maggots go in there. All the particles, you know, do get held up in those stones. And that's what I want. I want to hold them in one position if I can for a while, and hopefully they target that swim feeder, work their way up to it, see my bait below the feeder, bang, rod goes over. Theory, not fact at the moment. Well, I'm still getting fish after fish on the feeder, but they're nothing really big. They're big dace, they're really big dace, I think. This might even be a small chub, I don't know. It's pulling pretty well. And that's against that big feeder. Look at these dace. I mean, they are chunks, or as they say down the Ringwood way, herrings. That is, I'll turn it round so you can see him against that blue sky. Look at that fish. Superbly silver. He's taken 53 maggots on a size 10. There you go. That is a nice fish, but I'm not really fishing for them. Right, people, I am pretty well rigged up with a lure rod, just about to wind in the dace rods, I'm going to call them. I quite like the look of that one, but it looks like a sinker. It's a trout by the look of it, and it's called, the old lure tarts love all this stuff. Can't even read it. A Slide Killer F5. Yeah, it's a Slide Killer F5, boys. That's got to be the dogs, hasn't it? Or the fish. It's got to be the fish. Nice looking lure, probably got a nice action. It's got a little rubber tail. I think it had interchangeable tails or something bizarre. Never caught a fish on it, but still, I haven't used it a great deal. Right, rod and reel. This is what I'm using for lures. My favourite, some of you would have seen it before. It is, what is it, Namura, I think, Kanji. Casting weight, CW, and that's the guy's initials, 40 to 80 grams, 2.40 metres. No, as you know, we do not sell them. I'm just telling you what I use. I've used this a lot. Really good for pollock, spinning and light tackle, everything. It's one of my favourite rods. And it has a strange fitting here, which I don't know sure I like it or not, but it screws down onto the actual winch fitting with the real leg there. I've got a Namura, again I think it is, well, let's have a look in the sunshine, I can't see, you know me and tackle. An SW4500 something or other, H-E I think it's called, and there. It's quite a heavy reel, and it's got a real nice graduated drag, and you can put quite a lot of pressure on this. You could use this for small tuna, jack crevalles, I mean what I call proper hard fighting fish, not UK fish so much, but got a great big ball handle here to grab on, which is okay, a little bit big. Watch those rods. And then lure wise, I've got something, I don't know, somebody gave me this one. I'm not even sure it's not homemade, I don't know. Does any of you guys recognise this? Or I'll take it off and just turn it round for you. It's a diver, it's a floating plug, so you don't retrieve it, it floats on the surface. When you retrieve it, it dives down. It's got a really quite a nice violent action to it. 2 trebles, I call it like a sort of cross-lock type of swivel. Big long wire trace, barrel swivel up there that's humongous because it was sea fishing. And I'm going to throw that around and hopefully I won't lose it. One little tip, if you're lure fishing, it's very tempting just to put your lure in there like that, isn't it? To walk around if you're roving, which I'm going to do now. Best not to put it in there because the back end of the barb will score eventually and wear or nick your insert. It could be aluminium oxide inserts, you know, porcelain glass, could be anything. It will mark it eventually. So put it in the leg, just there, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense to you there. Put it in the leg, not in the ring. Another totally awesome tip. I need to go and have a lie down in a minute. I will have to have a permanent bloody lie down if I don't get one of these rods going over. Come on, fish. No, I think I'm going to wheel them in and go and have a little throw with the lure, and then I'll come back, and then what I will do is put pellets on there. There's another swim here. Obviously well worn. I can't be miles away from the barbel, can I? Look, I'm only up there with the car. A little bit of slack on the inside here. All I can do is throw out Mr. Plug and see if there's any inquiries. There won't be if I get all my microphone leader on me. There's been fish caught. There's plenty of footmarks there. Look. Nice cast, Graeme. Lovely cast. Went like a hand grenade. It's always weird when you're fishing a swim. I've got the glare in my eyes. I can't see really the depth. I'm assuming the deep part is going to be over the far bank there. I want to try and come in. Oh, I'm tangled now. I want to try and come in around any sort of slackish waters because I've no idea what the pike here are like. Do they slam it? Do they take it slowly? Do they just follow it and just look at it? And it's a lure I don't think I've used before much. Probably had a few outings like you do with lures. You have a few throws, don't catch anything, then you put it away. Or lose it. That's what I should say. We've all been there. And I don't often use braid for lure fishing. We're going to give it a go. Somebody said use braid and then you get snagged, you should get your lure back. If you use hooks that will straighten, of course. It's very deeper in the middle and a little bit shallower here. So when you come in, you just wind a little bit slower so you don't put it into weed beds. Nothing following. Quite a current there. Don't often fish fast rivers like this. Pike, I've got to be honest. Going to move up here. I'm going to try it's got a hell of an action on a constant retrieve like this. The tip is absolutely thumping away. So it does dive pretty deep, this one. As the season's got on a little bit, obviously people might have been through here with lures. If they have been through here with lures, the chances are the fish won't take, and I'm gonna, I should be going to bait. Anyway, it's going to give me half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, leaving the barbel rods just in case something grabs hold here. Really need to find some form of a bend or a slack. That's what pike like. They don't really like lying in fast water. Well, they don't like lying in fast water. I'm going to have one more cast in here because it's one of those places where I feel if you're going to get a take, it's going to be straight away. There's another little warm path through the Himalayan balsam here with those exploding seeds. They've dried out now. Most of them are replanted. They tell me it's an invasive species now. Which I don't disappear in a swamp, get eaten by a crocodile, or attacked by a raccoon. This looks like a swim that is not fished that much, if at all. Slightly slower. Leaves laying on the bottom. That's a better sort of sign, because pace there. My God, that's been cut away, that bank over there. Look at that. Let's just have a throw here. Who knows? That's absolutely vertical, that bank. Yeah, there's any pike there, they can see that for sure. I still think there's no slacks. It's very constant speed on the inside. I just can't see a pike being in there. A little bit too much pace. I have one more throw here and I shall be moving. Yes, got a bit of weed there, let's see. If you get that on a lure, guys, don't waste your time. The fish won't take it. It's a fairly even grade into the drop off. There's no real drop off here. So I just figure with that shallow water there's not going to be a pike there. Maybe there is, not much of my gut feeling. Right, move again. There's another swim there. A well-worn one by the look of it. There's a nice slack there too. It's a little bit better. We're getting more sort of pikey as we go, especially around there. That's what I call a better looking swim for pike. Absolutely. Still looks a tad shallow on the inside. I say there could have been pike anglers through here, who knows. Let's give it a wallop out there. See what we can see. Because I do a lot of twitching sprats, well that's my mainstay of pike fishing. I tend to want to fish the same sort of technique for pike. That's where I would expect a pike to be, anywhere there. The lure's working pretty well, eh? I mean, look at that colour, man. They can't not see it, can they? Another little swimmer. I had nothing in that last one. They're very well worn, these swims. All one assumes barbel fishing swims, I'm guessing. I'll have a few round to the left, I feel. I don't want to lose the lure. So I'll try and pull it to the right. Well, absolutely nothing took that pike lure. I didn't even get a flash, a swirl, a flicker, a boil, nothing came up for it. But I quite enjoyed working through the river currents and swirls and slacks trying to locate them. I went back to fishing with a swim feeder, and as the afternoon grew on, the sun started to go round, as all barbel fishermen know, that is the time when you expect something to happen. Oh, I've been on this fish, guys. I couldn't put the camera on, the battery's out in the other one. I've been on this fish about 10 minutes. It stripped me out downstream. There's obviously nowhere I know that I'm even going to get it yet. I'm just trying to maintain pressure. There's so much current out there where he is. So, barbel on, a long, long way from being landed in this current. I'm taking him very, very slowly. I'm going to just have to tie him out. I haven't even got a chance to get my other rod in. I'm just trying to maintain some sort of pressure and film as usual at the same time. I think you got that one there. Panicking, panicking, panicking. It was a drop back bite like cod fishing. The rod just came back from the rest, just went sprung straight back. I'll tell you what it was, not that I've got the fish yet, but 100% this is a decent barbel. I was sitting there thinking, I cannot believe I've been like 6 hours and I haven't had one bang. And the other day I was carp fishing and the fish were laying in the shadow line. And last week I was out trotting as well on a separate stream, and it was a bright day like this, and the fish, where were they? In the shadow line. You couldn't see them on the gravel, and I just thought, I'm going to fire this feeder right over the far side as far as I can get, put it in the shadow line. Say no more. I'm not saying we're going to get this fish, but I've just Gone off on the drag a bit, which I shouldn't be doing. Boys, I hope we get lucky. Quite a bit of pressure on this one. At least I've got him level with me at the moment. Just one fish, that's all we're looking for, just one fish. There's a lot of bubbles coming up. I think he might be in a weed bed. I'd say this fish is going to go over 5 pounds. I may be wrong. The way he peeled me out. He's over 5 pounds. Don't you worry, boys. I'm going to try and get it. Look, I'm just going to have to guess this, people. I'm just going to have to guess this. I don't know what I'm getting here. I don't often use this camera for this type of action. I shall be back shortly, smiling or crying. Oh, I'm losing it. I'm okay with him going upstream because he's got to fight the current as well. It's a nice big barbel. He's going to try and baby him because he's not done. I just hope that battery lasts. Oh no, he's stripping me out again. Get right in! Holy bloody hell! Holy cow! Oh, people! Oh no, I'm going in the river. Oh, this is, oh no, lumpo as we say. Look at the size of this barbel. Oh my word. I'll tell you what, people. This is a real nice barbel. Look at the size of this one. Just check this one out, peeps. There we go. Great big head on it. Follow the body down. Still going, still going, still going, still going. That, trust me, is a nice one. So pleased with that. Let's get it straight back. What a result. Change, change, change. All the time you've got to keep changing. I'm going to put it in the mat. If I can. Man, I can't believe the hook just fell out. Hold still, babe. There he goes. We're just going to let him recover here. Look at the size of that one, boys. There's my hand. That'll give you an idea of the size of this fish. That really is a superb barbel. We're going to hold him in the current. Just let him recover there. If I can just float him off my mat, I can hold him. There he is. Never let him go too soon. Well, he's gone. Sweet. Why oh why? Why, get it? Why oh why? Oh my god, that was a close one. Pellet, change to pellet. Whew. Goodness me, what a result. Well, cloud's gone over the sun, it's just going to drop behind the hill over there. I can't afford to stay late, that's the problem, because I'm not going to be able to see all the mud ruts that I avoided coming in here. It's about a good half mile or so to cut across the fields, and I can't disappear off. I could be disappearing down the riverbank otherwise. So I can't fish into dusk. And you're allowed to night fish here as well. You can get a night fishing ticket. I imagine that can be pretty good in the summer. I've heard my first owl, so that tells me it's getting on. I don't know why I didn't think of that thing about the shadow line before, because the problem is I've got polarising glasses on, and when you go like this you go, wow, it really is bright. I mean, now the sun's gone, don't get me wrong, but when you see how bright it is, well, why would the barbel be out on the gravel? You know, they might be in that shadow line, so I might well have baited up in the wrong place. I don't know. I might have just had a lucky throw, but I've noticed it twice in the last week. The fish were right up in the shadow line with this bright weather. I've got about barely 1 hour left. Be nice to pick up one more fish, but if I don't, listen, I can't argue with fish like that, can I, really? Doesn't hurt just to bump the feeder once in a while. This is the most luxurious swim I've ever fished on the Y. Well, I haven't, fingers crossed up to now, lost a feeder or even got snagged up. Anyway, you might ask yourself, what made you choose that swim then, Graeme? I'll tell you what made me choose that swim. I was walking around and I thought, I think there's a guy fishing up there. Shall I walk half a mile all the way to see if he's caught anything? And as I walked up, this young man hooked into this.
I'd be mad to have a catch a fish with Graeme.
Yeah, you'll be able to film as well. I haven't got much space on the television screen here, the monitor. Yeah, that's a good barbel bite.
Yeah. Oh, he's going.
Oh no, is he peeling you out? What, you on block-in feeder or open end or?
On that one I got like a river feeder, like one end's blocked, one end's open, just to get some hemp out.
Oh yeah.
And on this it's just a single lock bit.
Oh really?
On the lead, yeah.
Yeah.
Just thinking bigger barbel will hang back and just pick odd bits of bait off as my thinking. Oh, it's a barbel, yeah.
So first fish of this session.
Yeah, well, first barbel.
That's a lovely looker.
Brilliant fish.
And you feeding hemp and stuff?
Feeding hemp, yeah.
Good man. Nice to see. Well, I tell you what, I'm glad I walked up here. I've seen more barbel caught than than I have for the last 2 days.
Brilliant, I'm glad you come as well. This is the feeder I'm using. It's closed at one end by here, open at the other end. This is about a 3 ounce feeder, but you can get them in multiple sizes, I think all the way from ½ an ounce up to about 4 ounces. So what I do, why I like this feeder, close at one end, is I like to put a bit of hemp in it first. Put that down, and then a bit of ground bait, and I'll pack it in and hold the hemp in. And then once the flow will come through there, wash all the ground bait out and the hemp out and slowly trickle some hemp through the swim and draw the barbel and the chub up into the swim onto your hook bait.
And it lays nice and flat, that one?
Yeah, it lays nice and flat and it kind of hugs the bottom a bit more than a traditional open feeder.
And what's your feed in there, that red? What is that?
In here, they think it's krill,
yeah.
Krill ground bait, I think. I'm not sure what else, I think it's just krill.
Yeah, just straight krill, yeah.
Krill, and I got some hemp in there, some 4mm pellets and a couple of 8mm, and yeah, that's it really.
I can smell it from here.
Yeah, very smelly. Key for barbel, I think.
And then distance-wise, where are you throwing that out?
About 3/4 out to the river, just into a bit of the faster flowways.
Just where the leaves are, yeah?
Yeah, just where the leaves are, into a bit of a deeper hole, I think, out there.
So there we go, guys. Whoopsie. Thanks for watching the totally... Oh, Jesus, wet. I've lost him. Son of a gun. Rob was hooped over. I cannot believe it. That was a barbel for sure. The rod was buckled right over. Shh. Something's popped me off on felt like a snag as I hit it. Well, and this happened. What a way to close out. Thanks for watching the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. Even though I lost that fish, I'm not too worried. Who can I bite? I'm going to hang on for another 50 minutes. So, watch our show, hit the TA Outdoors subscribe button, hit the TA Fishing subscribe button. Both channels going really well on subscribers. I think Mike's over 600,000 now. And we'll see you in the next show. Who knows where? I've got to get another cast in.